Welcome to The Last Resort. I am your host, Ben Harris, joined by Mr. Philadelphia, Philly Brandon. We have quite the week in sports this week, brother.
Oh, it's beautiful. The NBA is getting really spicy, and then the NFL is coming back, which I completely keep forgetting about. That got here so fast.
I know, and the NFL coming back has totally made me forgotten that baseball is still a sport.
I would have forgotten about that had Alec Boehm not just walked off of the Phillies. So that's pretty hype.
Is he on the Phillies?
Yeah, he's our rookie third baseman. Kid's an absolute tank.
I've not heard that name yet. I guess you learn a new athlete every day.
You'll
Um,
see
I,
it
I
soon.
I turned on Yes today. Yes is the New York sports platform on TV, on radio, and I was listening to Michael Kay, and him and Don are talking about how shitty the Yankees are, and they were going back and forth. And I was just like, honestly, if you had told me the Yankees are the best team in baseball, I would have bought it. But
Mm.
apparently, they're playing 500 ball. They're terrible, and Boone's resting guys like DJ LeMahieu on days when he should play. So it's chaos with New York baseball, but I would not know anything about that.
No, I stay out of it. I mean, we've interviewed a few New York guys on here. One I want to give a quick shout out to while we're doing the pod is our friend Chris Williamson. He was tweeting today a reply to a CNN video. We don't get into politics on this podcast, but his tweet blew up. It was very popular. It was a great tweet. Love the guy. So I just want to give a shout out to him and his Twitter success today.
Good for him, man. He was an excellent guest. Yeah, it's always nice to see a fellow friend's tweet go viral. I hope
Yeah.
one day we can say it's ours.
Yeah, we're getting there. Hopefully we hit 83K one day.
Brandon, let's talk about the docket for today. We are going to give everyone our picks against the spread for the first week in the NFL, all the games. We're going to talk NBA playoffs, and we will finish with a live game of 20 questions between you and I. But first, let's get to maybe the most or least shocking story, depending on how you look at it. There's a video right now circulating around Twitter of a woman on No Jumper claiming that Odell Beckham likes to be, and I quote, shitted on. Brandon, what are our thoughts on this video right now?
Okay, so if you had asked me this morning, it would have been what on earth is what's going on with Odell? Like, I mean, he's always been a bit of an eccentric guy, but this is something I can't wrap my head around. However, you're asking me this. We record at 8 o'clock at night on Tuesdays, and I've circled back around. I don't think it happened. So we try and be an inclusive podcast here. I don't want to offend anybody, but I got to look at the individuals running this podcast, and they do not seem like the kind of people who Odell Beckham would be hooking up with. Let's just be honest here. And he has, confidants saying it didn't happen. Brad Wing, Beckham's old teammate, was adamant it didn't happen. So I'm leaning towards this is fake news by, some Instagram models, I guess.
First off, regardless of whether he did it or not, I personally on this podcast, I do not kink shame. Whatever you and your significant other want to do, or the person you're with that night in the privacy of your own homes, is no business of mine. So I do not kink shame on this podcast. And I'll tell you this, Brandon, if Odell has like a ridiculous season, whatever he's done in the bedroom, it's justified. And honestly, I think it's considered a power move because of how good he might play this season. Crazy take, but listen, that's not me. That's him. Whatever works for you. And I also agree with you. It's 100% not true. Uh, he posted about it on Instagram, pretty much joking about it. You said Brad Wing. He had a Instagram like, don't believe everything you see on the internet. It just feels like a total attempt at clout grabbing by this
Yeah.
person, and she succeeded like very well.
Yeah, like I mean, I had no idea who she was. I mean, I think I might have heard the podcast one other time. And, because of this ridiculous story, it has been, probably back page sports news. ESPN's not picking it up, but the Barstools of the world, they're all running with it like crazy. So she succeeded in gaining the clout she wanted.
Gut reaction. Did it happen or no?
No.
I would tend to agree. All right. Well, that brings us to the return of football. And before we get into the NFL, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Day Tailgate Experience. If you're a fan of The Last Resort, you should definitely check out Game Day Tailgate Experience on Instagram at GTE Presents. Founder of GTE, David Lenter, will be hosting an Instagram Live with Jenny Dell on the Game Day Tailgate Experience page to talk all things football later today at 8 p.m. EST. So if you're listening, it is September 9th, Wednesday, 8 p.m. at GTE Presents. The founder, David Lenter, will be hosting an Instagram Live with Jenny Dell.
That's an exciting one. Like I said, I mean, GTE are close friends of the pod. I mean, we're here somewhat because of them. I mean, that's where we got our fearless leader Spence from. So, I mean, we're all GTE fans over here. I'll be tuning in myself.
We are all GTE fans here, Brandon. That's an excellent way to put it. I was part of GTE. I founded the company with David Lenter, and they're going to do some great things when tailgating is allowed back, of course. Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to jump in real quick. It isn't on our docket, but you mentioned when tailgating is back. In your great state of New Jersey, there are drive-in parking lots and drive-in movie theaters who will be airing games and allowing tailgate experiences, which I think is awesome.
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, kudos to us. We rock with that stuff.
Shout out to New Jersey for getting creative with it.
All right, Brandon, let's get to the main story. The NFL is back this week. Oh, how we have missed football. So you and I both play fantasy football, so I thought it'd be great to start this segment off with our top 3 loves and our top 3 hates of this year. Could be a player, could be a strategy, could be whatever. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with loves. I'll count down from 3, 2, 1. I love rookie wide receivers this year. Jerry Jeudy on the Broncos, CeeDee Lamb on the Cowboys, Henry Ruggs on the Raiders, I believe. I would take a chance at all 3 of those guys as your 3rd or 4th wideout. I think, especially Jerry Jeudy, I think he's going to pop off with Drew Lock. I think CeeDee Lamb could be excellent with Dak. And then, Derek Carr's all right in Oakland. You should make Henry Ruggs pretty good. Number 2, I guess, do you want to do your 3 and then we'll go 2, 2, 1, 1?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, so my outside, my 3rd pick would be I went player. I went Miles Sanders from the Birds. A little bit of home cooking, but it's not that far off. I mean, if you check the rankings, he's up there. And gone are the days of the Eagles running back committee. Thank God. We have one lead back now. Well over 1,000 yards on the ground this season. I count on 500-600 through the air. So I think if Miles Sanders is there and you're running back round, I'd grab him as a running back 1.
Where is he going in standard drafts right now? Like 2nd or 3rd?
Overall?
Yeah, like 2nd or 3rd round.
Oh, yeah. 2nd or 3rd round, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I thought you meant 2nd or 3rd pick. I was like, he ain't that good yet.
I had one draft and I totally wherever I was picking, I just didn't see his name. So he must have, got taken on the comeback because I didn't even have a chance at him. And I had Saquon number 2.
10th ranked running back going into this year for fantasy.
Okay, so it makes sense why he wasn't available for me. My number 2 love, always draft players on amazing offenses. Okay, you got the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Saints, maybe even the Rams, possibly the Texans with Deshaun Watson. There was one other team I was thinking of. Anyway, maybe the Ravens, of course, if you're a Lamar Jackson guy. If you think a team is going to put up 30-plus points each week, there's going to be a good chance a lot of those players on that offense are going to be viable fantasy options. I try to do that every year. That's my number 2 love.
My number 2 is the Titans defense, who's not classically rated as a great defense. They're in the bottom 15 in the league according to ESPN Fantasy. However, I think their offense allows them to be a great defense. They're not on the field a lot because it takes a long time for the Titans to get end-to-end, just running Derrick Henry end to end zone. Mike Vrabel, obviously great defensive-minded head coach. And then just add Clowney, who I don't think has reached his potential yet. He's always been a part of great units. This will be the one time he gets to tee off on his own in an opposing backfield. So I think the Titans defense is going to be solid.
We drafted Titans defense in our league like a week ago, me and my buddy. And they just, they obviously signed Clowney this week, and we'll get into that. But, I'm so pumped we drafted him because we drafted him in, the last round. They were not going in really any of the drafts. And we get this guy. I think they're going to be great, too. And we picked up the Chicago Bears defense as a backup.
Nice insurance plan.
My number 1 love this year in fantasy football, funny team names, Brandon. You can do the born-again Christian McCaffreys, the hooked on a Thielens, or even a good inside joke that only you and your friends would know, like Mr. Felix Bean or something like that. That's our inside joke. A great team name. It's extremely important for the success of your fantasy football team.
So what is your team name, Spence?
Right now, I have two fantasy team names. One is the Mauve Avenger. Do you know what that's from?
I do not.
Do you remember the show Hey Arnold?
Yes.
There was an episode where Eugene, Arnold, and Gerald build, I think it was like a go-kart because they were go-kart racing. And Gerald and Arnold wanted to call it the Dark Storm. Eugene wanted to call it the Mauve. I'm sorry, they wanted to call it the Dark Avenger. Eugene wanted to call it the Mauve Storm. And they kind of agreed on the Mauve Avenger, and it was really lame.
Okay, I follow.
Yeah, I think I got that right. Anyway, that's one of my team names. And then the other, because I inherited a fantasy football league from my dad when I was about 12 or 13, his team name was always the big guy. So I just kept it.
Okay, that's a classic. Yeah, I can't go wrong there.
What's your number one love, Brandon?
My number one would be D Hop out in Arizona. It's going to be a high-powered offense with enough weapons to where defenses can't double him. I don't think you can't ignore Fitz just yet. Kyler on the ground is a problem in and of itself. So I think he's going to have a lot more single coverage and he's going to exploit that.
I was literally trying to think of them when I was listing offenses that can pop off. I think that offense is going to be awesome.
Especially with Cliff Kingsbury, offensive guru.
All right, Brandon, with our loves, we have to give our hates. So we got three hates. My number three, I hate aging running backs. David Johnson in Houston, AP in Detroit, LaShawn McCoy in Tampa Bay, even Leonard Fournette in Tampa Bay, who isn't starting, Ronald Jones is. I don't trust any of them. I don't think that you should take them any round before like 8 or 9. Like none of those guys. Like I mean, I understand if you want to take David Johnson around 5 or 6, but I don't think any of them are going to have good seasons, Brandon.
We're on the same page there because my number three hate is the Bucks. Is pretty much the Bucks backfield. Um, I think Ronald Jones is a good running back. I don't want to get that twisted here, but we're talking fantasy, and there's not going to be enough volume to go around between he and Fournette to make either one of them formidable.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and I think Brady's gonna do a lot in that offense.
Yeah, Bruce Arians he's not a running offense. Like Brady's had good backs, but that was with Belichick. Arians is all about laying it out down the field.
Arians is one of my favorite coaches because of the hats he's worn in the past. He has the best hat game.
The Fedora game is incredibly strong.
All right, my number two hate is everyone on the Chicago Bears. David Montgomery sidelined. Trubisky's a mess. If you want to take Allen Robinson or the defense, okay, but like I don't think anyone should be touched in Chicago on offense for the Bears.
I had that same critique for the Jags. My number two hate is the entire Jags offense. Um, if you draft someone on the Jags offense, your friends are obligated to stop you, and they're being good friends for doing so. I don't know what weapons you're looking at on that side of the ball that is going to make your team better. And I love Gardner Minshew as a meme, but like, let's be honest.
I thought of an amazing fantasy football team name, DJ Chark. Doo 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 doo.
That
It's
is that
pretty
is a
good,
catchy
right?
one. You're limited on characters, but if you can find a way to do it, that's a catchy one.
My number one hate is it's actually three guys. It's Philip Rivers, Tom Brady, and Ben Roethlisberger. I'm sure some of these guys will have good regular seasons, but fantasy wise, I don't trust any of them. Run heavy offenses, short passes, and less than 28 points a game is what you'll see from all three of these teams, in my opinion.
You lost him with the Buccaneers.
I don't think that they're going to be a great passing team. I think it's going to be more of a run heavy offense. Brady's going to be asked to do a little bit, but like they have three running backs right now. So all of them are going to get 6 to 8 touches a game. I don't know. I just, for some reason,
But
well, hold on, hold
LaShawn
on.
McCoy is not going to get 6 to 8. He's an afterthought.
I didn't say that Brady won't have a good regular season. Like I do think the Bucks are going to win 11 to 12 games. I don't think fantasy wise he's going to throw for 30 touchdowns or more.
I think he's going. I mean, their weapons through the air are so much more formidable than their ones on the ground.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think he has a Peyton Manning type season when Manning came back with the Broncos and he like basically broke the touchdown record?
I could see it happening.
Okay. Well, that's where me and you disagree, my friend.
That's fair. My number one hate is just the Dallas Cowboys organization, fans, players, stadium, owner, just because fuck them.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that logic, fuck the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's rock solid there, and they need to explain further.
By the way, if you went to college in Texas and you were filming this in like a Texas dorm room, would you be scared to say that right now?
I would probably record it in my truck about a few miles off of campus just to be safe.
All right, Brandon, let's move on to some of these most recent NFL roster moves. We talked about it earlier, but Jadeveon Clowney to Tennessee. What grade are we giving this? A through F scale.
Going to tennis. I mean, I'm going to give it a conditional B minus, but I'm going to let him rewrite the paper, and the grade might grow. You ever have those teachers? The work you're handing me right now, B minus work, but I see potential.
Okay, I don't know what the money is. I haven't looked at the deal, but he's one of the best defensive players in the league. I think it's an A plus.
It's money dependent, and I'm still waiting on him to explode as that best defensive player in the league. I mean, he's been good.
I thought he showed a lot of promise with Seattle last year.
That's where I keep holding on to, though. He's been promised out of college, promised in Houston, promised in Seattle. I'm waiting for him to do it.
We have Leonard Fournette signing with Tampa Bay. What grade do you give it?
I don't know, C plus.
Yeah, I feel like this and the McCoy signing both get C pluses because you don't know what their roles are. I mean, right now, Rojo's your guy. Ronald Jones is your starter.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're going to get from Fournette. What do you give it, a C?
I give it a C plus.
I'll give it a C minus. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be good. I just don't understand. If they don't use him in a role where, like, he's your lead back, I feel like he's not going to have as much value.
Let me try and just flush out what they might be thinking here. So, remember the Patriots won a Super Bowl with LeGarrette Blount?
I do.
Maybe that's this. Maybe he's the hammer, at the end zone.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. And then he gets, 20 touchdowns, but he rushes for, 600 yards?
Could be.
All right, we have Yanadin Ngakoue signing with the Minnesota Vikings. I grade this an A plus.
Yeah.
He is so fucking good, and the fact that he just wanted to play anywhere but Jacksonville, he was eager to sign with anybody. Goes to Minnesota, he's going to be a monster there. Thoughts?
I think he pops off this year. This is like a prison break for him. I'm going to give it a solid A rating. Minnesota's defense has always been good anyway, but they got that top flight pass rusher again on the front line, which is terrifying.
And finally, Adrian Peterson, the timeless wonder, signs in Detroit with the Lions. So has he played on every single NFC North team except the Packers, right?
Yes.
No, not the Bears. He hasn't played on the Bears. He's just played on the...
He didn't come through there?
They had another Adrian Peterson. Did they have...
I don't know if he might have made a pit stop there.
He's played on so many teams, but he signs with Detroit. They have a crowded backfield. I mean, they have Kerryon Johnson, who's healthy right now, and I think he's the starter. They also have DeAndre Swift from Georgia. He won't play to start the year, but he's someone who can come in, I think, midseason, get a lot of carries. So, I don't know. It'll be an interesting first 4 weeks. I give the signing a C plus because it's like, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, he did, in fact, not play for the Bears. That weird stop was New Orleans for a few minutes.
Yes, where he glared at Sean Payton because he wasn't getting enough carries.
Yeah. I'll give it a C. Cool. I don't think the Lions got marginally, they got marginally better. They didn't improve greatly. I think they're still the third best team, second best team. I don't know, them and the Bears and the Vikings. Third best team. Vikings, Packers, then them. But
Detroit's one of those teams every single year. It's like, all right, how did you guys get better? And they never show you.
No. It's a shame for Matt Stafford. He's such a great quarterback.
Right, but they if they improve drastically in their passing game, their run game will be shit, and vice versa. And if they have a great defense, they're going to have an anemic offense. They're just one of those teams that's never put it all together.
They're a 500 franchise.
Brandon, before we get to some of our NFL picks, we have a quick, you'll love to see it. Alex Smith, after a gruesome, devastating leg injury, made the Washington football team roster. He right now, the last time I read, he was the number 3 quarterback behind Dwayne Haskins and Kyle Allen. But it is unbelievable that, he's going to play football, hopefully, and he's going to be on a roster.
Yeah, I mean, he should be QB3. I love Alex Smith. This story is spectacular. I mean, I was keeping track on Twitter of his recovery. I mean, that dude was putting himself through hell to get back on the football field, knowing he'd probably be a third-string guy. That's an ultimate football guy move. And I think it's a good place for him. I mean, he can get his legs back under him. He can teach the young guys. So I think it's a dream scenario.
Did you watch the documentary on his stuff?
I have not yet.
Yeah, I heard about it. I know what it's about. I know he almost loses his life. I heard there's some footage in there that if you're a little queasy with like leg injuries, you don't want to watch, and I think that's me.
Yeah, that I watched it so many times the first time, I might be desensitized, but I don't want to relive it necessarily.
All right, Brandon, let's
But
go through every single pick in week one and
all
give our
right,
picks. All right, you ready for this? I'm
man.
gonna read them off. You'll go first. I'll go second.
All right.
And we'll just do the point spread. We won't do the over under.
Okay.
All right. Houston Texans at Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points.
Uh, I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I think the spread's off. I don't. I think it's gonna be closer.
I think you're right. I think that Deshaun Watson shows up in a big way. I don't think it's like that playoff game where the Texans jumped out to a 24-0 lead and then the Chiefs still won by like 21, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot closer. I do think the Chiefs will win, but I think it'll be in a close game. All right, we have Dolphins at the Patriots. -6 Patriots.
I'm gonna take the Finns. I think the Finns can do it. They beat him at least once a year, and I think once Cam Newton's comfortable in the offense, they're not going to beat him later in the season.
I got the Patriots by 100 points in this. Put your money on the Patriots. They're -6. Cam is so determined. Belichick's going to be ready. I know they beat the Dolphins once a year, every year. It's never really in the opening game. I got Patriots here covering the spread.
I mean, yeah, but they've never had a new quarterback since you and I have been really doing this.
A
I
good
mean,
point. I remember the Drew Bledsoe years.
yeah,
All right, we have the Browns at the Ravens. Ravens are favored by 8 points.
Ravens with the spread.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't think that the Browns will put up much of a fight. Although I think their last game was pretty close.
The Browns aren't an awful team, but the Ravens they're going to come out 100 miles an hour. I get the feeling.
Jets at the Bills. Bills are favored by -6.5. Who are you picking?
I'm going to take the Bills, but it's going to be closer than that. I think the Jets are definitely improved. McCown's made strides every year.
You
I
mean
think it's
Darnold?
that's what I said. What did I say, McCown?
Yeah, Josh McCown's like 100.
He's 41. He's on the Eagles practice squad, oldest guy on the practice squad in NFL history.
He's their emergency quarterback. That story was really funny.
Dude sitting on the couch watching football in Texas, collecting a check.
All
But
right. So
nevertheless,
you have
Bills by a field goal for me.
Oh, so you have the Jets covering.
Yeah.
All right, I got the Jets covering too. I actually think the Jets can win this game. I think that it's one of those scenarios where the Jets have just gotten so much bad media coverage for like a year. I could see them just come out and playing really well and beating a Bills team and like stunning the Bills. Uh, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Carolina Panthers. So you wrote +2.5. The Panthers are +2.5.
That's how I read it, yes.
Okay. I would bet the Panthers. I think that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. That makes sense. I would still bet the Panthers. I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like who's their new head coach? The guy Matt Rule. Matt Rule.
Yes.
I think he's going to be a good coach. I like the Panthers in this game. I haven't seen any of the Raiders on Hard Knocks this year. I don't trust them.
Yeah, I really went the Panthers too. Matt Rule is already a great coach. I think the NFL level's going to take him a little bit. But Oakland, Las Vegas, no matter which city, the Raiders are just always going to be dysfunctional, in my opinion.
Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons +1.5. Who do you got?
This is a tough one. I didn't know how to pick this one. God, I hate to bet against Seattle.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that Seattle wins this game, and by more than a field goal.
Yeah.
Next, we have your Eagles at the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are favored by. I'm sorry, the
Oh,
Redskins
God,
are
no.
giving. Redskins are giving 6 points.
I mean, I think it's going to be a lot wider of a margin. It's going to be a wider margin than that. I think Philly just comes out and blows them out of the building. And that's not even hometown meat talk. I think the Eagles have a lot of flaws, but the Redskins have so many more.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Eagles by a bunch, more than a touchdown. So yeah, Eagles -6. I would bet. Bears at the Lions. The Lions are -3.
I think the Lions can do it. I don't think the Bears are that scary this year. Not with Trubisky back on the center.
I think the Bears cover the 3. I think they might win that game. I don't know. Just something about their defense, and Khalil Mack's going to be motivated. Next, we have the Colts and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are getting seven and a
Do we
half
have
points.
to do this one?
And I like the Colts. I would bet the Colts with the spread. I can see Philip Rivers going off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised Jacksonville is going to walk on the field.
You're taking the Colts too?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. It's not even close.
Packers at the Vikings. Vikings are a 2.5 point favorite.
Nah, Green Bay.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I do like Rodgers. Yeah, I'll go Green Bay too. Chargers at the Bengals. Bengals are a 3 point underdog. So I bet the Bengals here. I think
That's what
that Joe Burrows plays nice and beats Tyrod Taylor.
Did you see that quote? I mean, he's like, I'm treating every practice like Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know when the season's going to get canceled. Like, Joe Burrow's coming out with his hair on fire, I think, on that game. So I'm with you.
Arizona at San Francisco. San Francisco is the 7 point favorite. Who are you rolling with?
I do think that San Fran's going to win, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think it's going to be by that many.
If the 49ers defense flexes, I can see Murray making a lot of mistakes. For some reason, I just think that right now in this first week, the offenses are going to have a leg up. I got the Cardinals covering the 7 points, but I have the Niners winning the game.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. The Saints are 3.5 point favorites. Are you going with your Bucks?
Bucks. Yeah. It's Bucks season the whole year.
It's so hard to. It's at the end of the day, this game is Brady versus Breeze. Like that's what it is in 2020.
And they both have killer weapons.
Oof, this is a toss-up. I do like the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers just because I've learned never to bet against the Patriots when Tom Brady's a Patriot. The Dallas Cowboys versus the LA Rams. The LA Rams are 2.5 point underdogs. I like the Rams getting the 2.5. I think that the Rams actually are going to beat the Cowboys in week 1.
More accurately, I can't bet the Cowboys. I mean, I need to go home at some point, and I want my house to be there and not in flames. So Rams.
Pittsburgh Steelers at the New York Giants. Giants are 4.5 point underdogs. I'm a Giants fan, folks. I think I'm betting the Steelers here.
Oh yeah, me too. Giants are getting closer and closer, but it's not time yet.
And finally, on Monday night, it is the Titans at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 1.5 point favorites. I like the Broncos here. I think that the Broncos are going to surprise a lot of people this year. I think Drew Lock's going to be impressive. They have a formidable run game, some weapons on the outside in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. I like the Broncos in this one covering the 1.5.
Give me Tennessee for sure.
All right, and there you have it. If you want to make some money with me or Brandon, there are your picks for this week. Brandon, let's get to some NBA playoffs. The Clippers are up on the Nuggets 2-1. Those two teams went at it on Monday night, but thanks to Kawhi blocking Jamal Murray with his middle finger and Paul George continuing to play up to his playoff P standards, the Clippers were able to come away with a huge Game 3 win. This series could easily go 7 games, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's expectation, to be honest with you. You got a Clippers team that just seems to get it done. I mean, that's how Kawhi does things his whole career. Mid-range game, inside game, he can shoot the 3 enough, but it's never going to be too sexy with Kawhi, except for the middle finger block. That's poetic, is it not?
That was unbelievable. That was a fuck you to his shot.
Literally. But then you've got the Nuggets, who are like this, new kids on the block, young team. Jokic is a problem, let's just be honest. Jamal Murray proved the last series that he can play with the best of them, but
you're forgetting my guy, Michael Porter Jr.,
I do keep forgetting him.
Dude, he puts people in body bags. He ended Montrezl Harrell's life with that dunk. I'll tell you this, Coach Malone's going to have to start playing MPJ in crunch time because he went with Jeremy Grant in that fourth quarter in Game 3, and you just don't get the same offensive firepower that you do with Michael Porter Jr. with Jeremy Grant. So hopefully he learns to start playing MPJ in the fourth quarter games. I still like the Clippers in this series. I think it goes 6. I think the Clippers take it. But, yeah, man, Nuggets are fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi is right up there with LeBron when it comes down to winning time. I mean, he kind of makes a decision when, he's like, all right, it's time to lock in. It's time to take over. And the Nuggets don't have that guy yet. Jamal Murray's well on his way, but he's just not Kawhi yet.
If you can take any player currently in the playoffs right now that's healthy, when it started, who would you take? Kawhi would have to be your first, right? I would take Kawhi now.
Me too. Me too.
Speaking of LeBron, let's get to the Lakers and Rockets. They will play game 3 by the time you're listening to this last night. To me, this is a series. If I'm the Lakers, I am terrified of how well the Rockets can shoot the three. Covington, House, Tucker, Gordon, Jeff Green. They shoot the 3-point ball so well, and the Lakers don't. And then Westbrook can take anybody off the dribble at any point in the game. So Houston's a very scary team right now. None of the games have been really that close. The two games, the one Houston won, they won pretty easily. Same with the Lakers. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like, who imposes their will more, Houston or LA? I like the Lakers, but I can see this going 7.
I think when you're talking about who's going to impose their will better, I like the Lakers in that exact debate. Because once things get inside, AD's, in my opinion, the best in the league, best scorer in the paint. LeBron, when he wants to be, can be the same way from the mid range, from the paint. I mean, they just don't have anybody that can check those two guys. I think the 3-point shooting cools off. The Lakers have decent perimeter defenders. I mean, Rondo can D up on the outside enough. Green usually can. But I agree. I think it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series, but I'm not too worried if I'm the Lakers. After that one, though, we got Heat Bucks. Now, the Bucks are playing right now, I want to say.
I got the score up. Bucks are down 57-52 over a little over 10 minutes in the third quarter.
Yeah, now this one was one I've been watching closely because I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan. We do the Jimmy Butler fan club. Send it our way. I would love to join it. I think with Giannis, maybe they steal one more game, but I don't think this series is in any kind of jeopardy whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to come back down 4 games without Giannis. I see the Heat. If they don't close it out this game, they'll close it out next game. But I don't know. I don't see the Heat losing tonight.
And we both talked about on this pod. We were talking, the Heat, kind of a quiet team that could scare some people. And I mean, if anybody in the East right now should be shaking watching them rip through two pretty solid teams in Indiana and Milwaukee.
They have a very good formula for 2020. They have an isolation guy, Jimmy Butler, who can create his own shot when he needs to. They have 3 or 4 really good 3-point shooters, 2 elite in Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and then Jay Crowder and Goran Dragic can also throw the ball at a very high clip. And then you have a great passing center in Bam Adebayo. So, yeah.
Also first team all defense.
Exactly. I like the Heat against the Celtics, assuming those are the two teams that move on. And we got to talk about the Bucks. Is how much of this, Brandon, was the Heat are better than people thought versus the Bucks aren't going to go far with a Giannis Chris Middleton 1-2 punch? You're seeing all these people come out of the woodworks. Richard Jefferson, Giannis isn't a Michael Jordan, he's a Pippen. And then Pippen responded, very funny back and forth. Pippen responded with, "What kind of player were you?" Which is like, yeah, RJ, like, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you like? Do you think that this is the Bucks aren't going to go far with this current team? Obviously.
First of all, I think that's the last time that RJ comes at Pippen for any particular reason. I mean, he got put in this place real quick, deservedly so. Secondly, yeah, I think the Bucks are handicapped to a degree. Giannis can't space the floor, which during the regular season isn't a problem. But when defenses clamp down in the playoffs, it's been a problem every single year. I'm not going to go down on Chris Middleton hard at all. I mean, he showed last game what he can do when they need him to.
Phrasing, by the way.
I think it's a roster construction issue more than it is either one of those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I would 100% agree. Let's move on to the next series and final series in the playoffs, the Celtics-Raptors series. Celtics handled the Raptors in Game 5, beat them easily. They can close it out later today. Do they do it, or does this series go 7 games?
I think it goes 7. Personally, I mean, this is the second punch from the Celtics, and I can't bet against why the Raptors weathered the first one. I mean, people thought they were down and out, and they found that championship DNA, that championship spirit. Nick Nurse is a fantastic coach. They're not going to come into this game unprepared. I think they can stretch to 7.
I like the Celtics in this game today. I just think that Tatum, Brown, they smell the blood in the water. They got their groove back in Game 5. I think they come in, handle business. I don't even think it's a close game. I think the Celtics win by 15 or 20.
15 or 20. I'd be surprised that happens. I don't think Toronto goes down without a fight.
All right, Brandon, we're going to end the episode a little bit differently today. So I actually, over the weekend, I went to Provincetown, Massachusetts with my girlfriend, had a great time, really fun place. On the way back, it's like a 6.5 hour drive. I made her play 20 questions with me. So you and I are going to play 20 questions. I'm going to be thinking of someone, and I know you're going to know who this person is, and you're going to have to guess who it is with 20 questions. Are you ready? Oh, and they have to be yes or no questions.
Okay, you absolutely threw me a curveball here, but we'll figure it out.
All right, let's go.
All right. Is this person a professional athlete?
Keyword you asked is no.
Was this person a professional athlete?
Yes.
Was this person an NBA player?
No.
Was this person an NFL player?
Yes. You're at 4 questions.
Was this person a quarterback on the Giants?
No.
Was this person a former Giant?
No. 6 questions.
Fuck. Shit, this is a tough one, man. I mean,
I got you.
This is a wide pool.
This is 20 questions, baby. You got to ask some specific questions.
Yeah, really. Does this person hold an NFL record?
Without looking, I would say maybe. I'm not going to count that because I don't know the answer to that, but I would think maybe is my answer.
Okay.
Probably. I don't know, but maybe.
Is this person in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Oh, man. Did this person play for Indianapolis?
No. 8 questions. You have 12 more. I want you to do me. Okay, so you know the person's in the Hall of Fame. You know they were great. You know they might have some records. Try to think of like Hall of Fame players like that everybody would know. That's not like a weird like, I'm not going to guess some offensive lineman that I'm sorry, I'm not going to think of some offensive lineman you might not even know. Like this is someone that I know that you would know. So those are my little hints.
All right. Was this person a wide receiver?
No. Good question.
Is this person on offense?
Yes. 10 questions.
Okay. Is this person a tight end?
No. 11 questions.
Is this person a running back?
Yes. 12
Was this
questions.
person Bo Jackson?
No. 13 questions. Like where your head's at, though. Really like where your head's at.
He was just on Twitter. That's why I was thinking about him. He stiff-armed the guy. Nevertheless. Okay, running back Hall of Fame.
That was your 13th. You got 6 more.
All right. Was this person a running back for the Lions?
No. I mean, that's my way of saying it's not Barry Sanders.
Was this player Walter Payton?
No. 4 left.
Emmitt Smith?
No. 3 left.
Jim Brown?
2 left.
LT?
1 left.
The Bus?
Wrong. The person I was thinking of, none other than O.J. Simpson.
The juice is loose.
Orenthal, James Simpson. Joe and I used to discuss OJ on this pod quite a lot. His checkered past, whatever you want to call it, it exists. And he golfs a lot now, and he's very heavy on Twitter. So OJ Simpson, we're huge fans, sort of, kind of.
He's actually my fantasy football name.
No, he's not. What's your fantasy football name?
My number one wide receiver is always Juju Smith-Schuster. So my fantasy football name is the Juice is loose. J-U Juice.
And that was a good one, right? Like, you know who OJ is. I wasn't.
Yeah.
There are certain things like next time you're like, what was he involved in controversy? Did he do anything outside of football? Was like certain things,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, to be fair, I was ready for the Twitter meme closer.
Oh, I think I might have missed that.
Yeah, we're past it now. We'll move on.
All right, man. That does it for this week of The Last Resort. Thank you guys for listening. Brandon, any final words to the audience?
Yeah, wear your mask so I can go back to the bar pretty soon.
There you go, folks. You heard it from Philly Brandon. Wear your masks and have a good night.